Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on emotional intelligence, a topic that is more relevant than ever in both our personal and professional lives. And emotional intelligence, or EQ, is all about understanding and managing our own emotions while effectively navigating relationships with others. It's a skill that can truly transform how we can communicate and collaborate and lead. To guide us through this insightful session, we have the incredible Parul Tripathi with us. With over a decade of experience in education, corporate training, and soft skill development, Parul is not only an expert in the field, but also a passionate TEDx speaker dedicated to helping people unlock their true potential. So, without any further ado, let's welcome Parul Tripathi to lead us on this journey of emotional intelligence. Over to you, Parul.
Hey all, a very good afternoon to all of you and welcome on today's session on emotional intelligence. So this topic is, as Shrikant mentioned, it's incredibly important because it impacts not only our emotions, but it also helps us to connect with the emotions of other people, whether we are at work or we are in our personal space or in any interaction. So without any further ado, let's dive in. And I would request you all to, if possible, kindly remain on your camera mode on only so that we make the session very engaging and interesting for each one of us. So I want you all to write in the chat box. Basically, why we are doing this, I want you all to quickly introduce yourself and write in the chat box about your name, the place you are from, and your expectation from the workshop. Can we have the chats coming quickly? So all you have to do is you have to write your name, your city, and your expectations from the workshop. Okay, so we have Mamta, we have Vishakha, we have Kiran, and Gaurav from Apollo Hospitals, Ahmedabad, Ravi from Bangalore. Okay, Shruti is saying that she wants to understand whether EQ will help in body awareness or not. Bringing awareness, I think it should be. Okay, great. Hi, Nikhil. Hi, Shruti. Hi, Bishakha. Welcome. A very warm welcome to all of you. After having you all introduce yourself, I would like to take this opportunity to quickly introduce myself. So I'm Parul Tripathi, academic person. I've done my master's in biochemistry. I've also done my bachelor's in education from Mumbai University. I'm a certified trainer. I started my career in education industry and I've been worked as a teacher and professor in schools and college. I made a transition in my career. I switched to corporate training industry and I then worked for 6-7 years in the corporate training sector. I had clienteles like Jindals and Tatas, and I've also conducted various training programs for various educational institutions. I'm also a TEDx speaker, and currently I am helping my own family business. We have a fintech company, and we provide WhatsApp-based payment collection solutions where I am occupied there as taking care of the marketing and sales. So this is a short introduction about me. Now, before we begin, as it is a webinar, Shrikant said, so you all can keep your videos off, but also try to keep your phone on silent mode. Keep a notepad and pen handy for taking notes, and please be muted when you are not speaking. Now, the purpose of this program is to enable all of you to have greater control over your emotions, and thus using that understanding, you manage yourself well. Also, you will be equipped with the tools and techniques through when you will gain greater understanding of how do you understand the emotions of other people. And using this understanding, you can make a strong and effective relationship with them. So towards the end of the workshop, you will get tips and techniques about how you can practically apply EI in your personal and professional space. Now, what is emotional intelligence? So it is the dimension of intelligence which responds our ability to be aware of our emotions and emotions of the others, and use this awareness to manage ourselves and our relationship with others. Isn't it? So basically, there are various kinds of intelligence. I'm not going to go into the detail of the various kinds of intelligence. There's a Gardner theory, which tells about the different kinds of intelligence. And one of the intelligence is emotional intelligence. So one is EQ, which is emotional intelligence quotient, and the other is IQ, right? What is IQ? Can you write in the chat box? Intelligent quotient. Yes, Kiran is saying IQ is intelligent quotient. Can you define in a statement what is intelligent quotient? So one is emotional intelligence and the other is so one is EQ and the other is IQ. IQ is also very important, but in today's age of AI and generative analytics, I feel EQ is more important than ever before. So why is EQ that important in today's age? And to cover this topic, I'm going to share one short story with all of you. So in a bustling tech company, there were two managers. One was Ramesh and one was Suresh, who led two different teams. And both were equally skilled in their technical expertise, but approached leadership differently. So Ramesh was known for being task-oriented, and deadlines were scared and mistakes were unacceptable in his team. Employees under the Ramesh, they often felt stressed and hesitant to share their ideas or creative expressions. Productivity was high for a while, but over time, team members, they began to burn out. Some left while others, they stayed but disengaged emotionally. Whereas on the other hand, Suresh not only focused on results, but he also connected on building connection with the team. So when a mistake would happen, he would calmly discuss it, asking, what can we learn from this? If somebody seemed off, Suresh would take a moment to ask, like, is everything okay? So he encouraged the team to collaborate and innovate, creating a culture of trust and growth. Over a year, the results were clear. Ramesh's team struggled with high turnover and low morale, whereas Suresh's team excelled, meeting targets, demonstrating resilience during tough times. And when Suresh was asked about this difference, he smiled and said, it's not about IQ or technical skills. It's all about understanding emotions, mine and others, and using that understanding to promote positive outcomes. So that is why emotional intelligence is very, very, very important. So first point says that it fosters stronger relationship and team's trust. So Suresh's ability to empathize and connect with the team members, of course, it created a culture of trust and collaboration, which is very clear from this story. It enhances employee engagement and morale. So unlike Ramesh's team, which was completely task-driven, which led to the burnout and disengagement, Suresh's team, Suresh's focus more on emotionally intelligent leadership, and he inspired resilience and innovation. So AI helps in creating an atmosphere where people, they feel valued, they feel motivated, which leads to sustained productivity. And obviously, then it leads to long-term success. Now, the million-dollar questions that comes to the mind is, what is emotion? Yes. Can you all write in the chat box? What is emotion? I'm waiting for your responses. Okay, feelings at a specific moment of time, expression of feelings, response to actions, positive or negative stroke, any sort of way to express yourself to others. Great. Okay. Emotions are feeling that a person feels either positive or negative. Great. So emotions are nothing but feelings. So emotions are basically, they are the complex physiological and psychological responses to events, experiences, or thoughts. But in simple language, we can say that they are feelings. But there's a difference between emotion and feeling. If I have to give one analogy, so emotions, if I have to give an analogy of tree, emotions, they are like the trunk of the tree and the feelings are the branches. Okay. Emotions, there are two categories of emotions, positive emotions and negative emotions. Positive emotions like joy, interest, enthusiasm, laughter, empathy, action, pride, desire, these are all positive emotion, whereas sadness, anger, resentment, they are all negative emotions. Now, what is IQ? It is a measure of your cognitive intelligence, which measures your mental processes like thinking, reasoning, analyzing, and problem solving. So as we had mentioned that there are like EQ, there is IQ and there is EQ. And what is the difference between IQ and EQ? So IQ is a cognitive ability, and whereas EQ, it is more about your interpersonal and intrapersonal ability. So interpersonal ability, when I say interpersonal ability, your relationship with the people, what kind of relationship you have with the other people around you. And your intrapersonal ability means what kind of relation you have with yourself, you know. Sometimes we have thought for ourselves, We have self-reflection for ourselves and basis which we make our decisions. So that is more of an intrapersonal relationship with us. So IQ is fixed and EQ is flexible. So IQ is, people are born with certain IQ. If you want to know about your IQ, you can get your IQ test done and there'll be score which will tell your IQ. Whereas EQ is flexible. It's a learnable skill, and anybody and everybody can learn EQ over a period of time. So an individual success at work and life is 80% dependent on EQ and only 20% on IQ. Daniel Goleman, who's supposed to be the father of the emotional intelligence, he says that an individual success at work and life is 80% dependent on EQ and only 20% on IQ. So we should focus on developing EQ. And the good thing is that it's a learnable skill. Now I want you all to do this questionnaire. Okay, so this is a part of the workshop under which we are going to do this activity. You have to solve this questionnaire and jot down your responses on the notepad that you'd be having. Later on, we would ask for the, like, how many nevers you have got, how many sometimes you have got. If you are doing the activity, please write yes in the chat box. Great, great. Gaurav, Murlidhar, Tapasvi, Durga, everybody is doing the activity. So a minute for this slide, and then I'll turn to the next slide for the next question. Please keep a note of your answer for every question. Yeah, so I've changed the slide now. Shall I change the slide? Okay. Few more seconds for the second slide, and then we'll move on to the last slide. Okay, I'm turning the slide to next slide. So these are the last set of questions. Once you are done, just count how many nevers you have got, how many sometimes you have got, how many often, and how many frequently. And put the score in the chat box. Completed second slide. Done. Okay. Ravi has done. Pratibha has done. Gaurav has done. Now count how many never you have got, how many sometimes you have got, how many often, how many frequently, and then put your responses in the chat box. Completed. Vishwanathan says completed. Okay. 7 often, 1 sometimes. Okay. Purnima says. Saujanya, you've completed, but you'd mention your score in the chat box. Okay. Sometimes 5, 6 often, 1 never, 5 sometimes 2. Saujanya says often 2. And what about others? So see, if you've gotten more number of never, it indicates that you need to strengthen your EI. Sometimes suggest you are occasionally using EI and you have potential for growth. Often demonstrates consistent application of AI and frequently reflects strong AI. So this was just to give you all a gist about your standing and your understanding of AI and where do you stand as far as your application of AI into the real life goes. Okay. I hope everybody liked this activity. Yeah. So now I will talk about emotional intelligence quadrant. So we have an emotional intelligence quadrant which basically is divided into 4 sections. So first is about, wherein we have to focus more about on self-awareness. We need to be aware of our own emotions, what are the trigger points for us, and paying attention how others influence our emotional state. Using this understanding, when we manage our behavior, then it is self-management. So it is a personal competence. Personal competence contains two parts of this, wherein we are working more towards being aware of our emotions, and using that understanding we manage our behavior. Okay, so self-awareness and self-management. The other two sections of this quadrant is about social awareness and relationship management. So see, this social awareness, so here you try to understand about the emotions of other people, picking on the mood of the other people, caring what they are going through, you know trying to empathize with them, trying to understand their emotions and why they are behaving in a particular manner because of those emotions. So here you are trying to strengthen your social awareness, and basis this awareness, you are improving your relationship with the people around you. So this is the quadrant of the emotional intelligence. So it is basically divided into two competence. One is personal competence and the other is social competence. Personal competence, you focus more towards understanding your emotions, and then using that understanding you manage your behavior. Social competence, you focus more on developing an understanding for the emotion of other people, and using that understanding you are managing your relationship with other people. Okay, so it has personal competence and it has social competence. Personal competence focuses more on self-awareness and then self-management, and social competence, it focuses more on social awareness and relationship management. Now, uh, emotions, as we all mentioned, that emotions are feeling, but do you know, on an average, how many feelings do we go through in a day? Do you all have any idea of that? You can write down in the chat box. Jatin is asking, is high ER considered as positive or negative? ER, what do you mean by ER? You can specify about ER. More than a dozen, multiple, countless. Okay. More than 10,000, great. Multiple. So in order to improve anything in life, we need to improve about its awareness. So whether it is money, whether our saving, relationship, business growth, we need to have understanding and awareness of these things to figure out what do we need to do to reach where we want to go, isn't it? Same thing about emotions. In order to understand our emotions and increase the awareness of our emotions, we need to start increasing the awareness of our emotions. Many people, they try to understand the emotions and feeling of other people, but you'll not be able to do so if you're not connected with your own emotions. So many a times when I ask my participants, how are you feeling, they're just not able to, tell how are they feeling. They will look at each other, they'll look at the ceiling, but they'll not be able to describe about their feelings. So if you're not connected with your emotion, you'll never be able to connect with the emotions of the other people. So the first step is to connect with your emotion. And on an average, we all go through about 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts in a day. And with every thoughts, they say that there is a possibility of feeling attached to it. Now, obviously, we cannot be mindful of 60,000 to 70,000 feelings in a day. Otherwise, we'll land up becoming a Babaji at Himalayas, isn't it? But we need to be aware of our feelings, at least during the important situations, or when we are spending time with the important people in our lives. So when we are going for an important client meeting, or when we are going for an important team meeting, or when we are spending time with our spouse or our kids, we need to be aware of our emotions, right? I'll just give you all an example, scenario. So for example, just imagine that you, despite all your best efforts, you had a busy day at work, and your day did not go well. You are just waiting for the time when you can leave office and proceed towards your home, and you start in the evening, and when you start, you get caught in the peak hour traffic, and after a lot of frustration and challenges, you reach home. And once you reach home, your child starts running towards you, and you just stop them like this and say in a stern language that I'm very tired, don't disturb me for half an hour at least, just go play, do your homework, whatever you want to do, but don't disturb me. Now what has just happened? Whatever tension that you were carrying on your shoulder, you have transferred it onto your child. Now, though it has happened unconsciously, but it will have repercussions on the child. Maybe the child will think that my father or mother doesn't love me. So stress is one word that we all started using when we started working. But even today, even a junior KG kids can says that I am stressed. It is because of the negative energy that they receive from the parents. Earlier kids, they were spared from all this stress and all because they were grown up in a joint family setup, but nuclear family setup, it doesn't provide that kind of cushioning to the kids around, right? So why I'm sharing this example is because I want to highlight that how even a slightest of action of yours can impact the people around you, and your actions, they are influenced by your emotions directly, isn't it? And one very good thing about emotions is that they have the capacity to handle themselves well when you support them with your awareness. Okay. So when you are aware of your emotions, you can manage yourself. You are in a position to manage the situation around you in a very matured manner. Say for example, I'll give you all one example. Imagine that you've gone to your favorite hill station with your family. Okay. Day one of the holiday is complete. Day two, when you wake up, you open the doors of you open the window, and you look at the serene beauty around. The fogs are floating in the air, the sunlight which is trying to penetrate through the cloud, and you feel so blissful, and you look at your family members and you feel that how happy and blessed you are to have such kind of family members with you. Now at this moment, when you're feeling happy, when you bring awareness to this feeling of being happy, what will happen? Write down in the chat box. So what happens in the moment when you bring awareness towards your feeling of being happy? Does it increase or decrease? Increase. Increase. Everybody is saying Vishakha, Pratibha, Sushmita, everybody is saying increase. So if you notice, if your happiness on a scale of 1 to 10, if your happiness was 7 earlier, now it can go up to 8 or even 10, right? Now let's take another scenario. Say for example, you're driving on the road and somebody comes and hits your vehicle from behind, and you get really angry and you come out of your vehicle and you start shouting at the person who hit you. And there is this one moment during the conversation when you realize that you are angry. Okay. Now at this precise moment when you realize that you are angry, what will happen to your anger? Will it increase or will it decrease? Write down in the chat box. Decrease. When you become aware, your BP has gone up. Okay. Decrease. Should decrease. Vishakha, Jatin, everybody is saying decrease. So the point here is, when you bring awareness to your feeling, a positive or supportive feeling, it increases in intensity, making you feel happier. And negative or non-supportive feeling, it decreases in intensity, giving you an opportunity to rectify or correct yourself, right? So we need to bring awareness to our feeling during important situation. Okay. And if it is a supportive feeling, you will realize that it increases, and if it is non-supportive feeling, then the intensity will decrease. Now I want you all to do one activity. So are we clear with this know your emotion slide? So you bring awareness to your emotion, and if it is a happy feeling, it will increase in intensity. And if it is a non-happy feeling, it will decrease in intensity. Just a second. Now I want you all to do this activity. So there are 5 instances written in the slide. You have to write down the answers of this. How did you feel when you woke up this morning? How did you feel when you had breakfast this morning? How did you feel when you were on your way to office? How did you feel to meet your colleague after reaching office? And how are you feeling right now? So a quick 1-minute activity. Write down your responses in the chat box. So you can write 1, 2, you can number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and just write down the name of the feeling that you had for all these instances. No need of writing the entire sentences, like if you woke up this morning and you felt famished, you can write down there 1, hungry or angry or whatever, or happy or pleasant feeling you had. 2, what was the feeling did you feel, and then put it in the chat box. Neutral. Pratibha says, when you woke up, you had a neutral feeling. Okay. Please write about your responses in the chat box so that we are able to know. Okay. Purnima says, happy when she woke up. Then pleasant, pleasant, pleasant. Oh, great. She had a great day. That means. Okay. Okay. I'm feeling refreshed. Looking forward to the weekend. Great. Vishwanathan says he felt refreshed when he woke up, then he pleasant, then okay, and now looking forward for the weekend. Great. Charged up. Okay, tired. Saujanya says when she woke up, she was anxious. Then when she had breakfast, she was full, dull, happy, tired. Now, are you tired, Saujanya? Okay, we'll be soon finishing our workshop and then maybe you can take some time to relax yourself. Low energy, Deepak says. Jatin says, not happy when he woke up, then neutral, positive, positive, and now he's happy. Good. Okay. So why I made you all this activity was just to make you all realize that how important it is to be aware of our feelings and emotions. Obviously, we cannot be aware of our feelings and emotions throughout the day, but at least when we are into important situation or when we are into, spending time with important people, then we need to be aware of our situation, of our feelings. Because if we are into a negative state and feeling, then it might impact the people, it might impact our behavior, and it might impact the people around us, isn't it? Okay, so with this, we will end this activity here only and moving on to the next slide. Okay, emotional versus rational thinking. We'll cover this very one important topic. So how do we, experience the external world? Through our 5 senses, right? So basically our ears, they help us to hear, the eyes help us to see, our skin help us to feel, and which are the other senses? Eyes, nose helps us to smell. So through our senses, we experience the external world, right? So what happens, say for example, if I'm touching something, now when I touch something, there will be an electric signal that will be generated, and this electric signal will travel to my brain, where my brain will then give me response through which I will be responding through my action. So when an electric signal, so the electric signals, they are the means through which the senses, they work, our senses, they work. So these signals are first taken to the brain, and then using the response of the brain, we respond differently. So the signal first travels to the spinal cord and then to the brain. So when signal goes through the spinal cord and then it goes to the brain, there is this place in the brain called limbic system. Okay, so limbic system is responsible for our emotions, and then comes the rational center where the rationality part comes. Okay, so why do we tend to react emotionally in any situation? Because we are biologically designed. So when that signal travels from the spinal cord to the brain, it first reaches to the limbic system where we feel. So it is very natural to react emotionally in any situation, and all you have to give yourself to take care of the logical side of the brain is give yourself some time. For example, I'll give you all a scenario. Say for example, you had a busy weekend, and you had a busy week, and now weekend, you're looking forward for the weekend, and you planned a trip to mall. You go to mall with your wife, and you just went to mall with the intention of doing window shopping, but you come across a mobile shop. You enter into the shop and you start looking out for the various mobile models, and you come across this model which you always wanted to buy, and suddenly you make a decision to buy this mobile. Your wife is not very happy with this decision because it's not a planned decision. and you are giving arguments that it is worth spending this amount of money for you, but she's not agreeing to it. And now the fact that she's not agreeing is even more frustrating than not being able to buy mobile. So now why is that person, why are you reacting so emotionally in this situation? Because the impulse which was generated, the electric signal that was generated, had gone to your limbic system, and you are primarily operating from this limbic system. Now in order to for you to act from rationality, you have to give yourself some time, maybe go for a walk, let the signal go to the rational part of the brain, and then, like, when the rational part of the brain becomes active, you will be reminded of the EMIs, of the rent, of the children's fees, and 10 other expenditures that you have to take care of, and you yourself will decide that maybe I'll buy the phone after 6 months. So in any situation, why we react emotionally is because that's how we are biologically designed. Now once we are now we know this fact, we will be in a better position to handle our emotions, right? We will give ourselves some time. So in team meetings also, when you see the tempers flaring up, give everybody some time, and then after a break, try to and decide about the thing which has to be decided in the meeting. And every important decisions of the life has to be given some time. Sleep over the decision. Morning may the brains, they are functioning at its best. Your rational part of the like, if you've slept over the problem, you will be able to find the solution in the morning. So always take important decisions of your life by giving yourself some time. So I hope this slide is clear to all of you. If yes, write down yes in the chat bar. Ashwini says Amba Vadala is the storehouse. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Quickly, we will move to the next slide. Now, see, once you have known your state of mind, and sorry, just a moment. So once you have known that you are in a negative state of mind, you are under the grip of negative emotions, by bringing awareness to your emotion, the next step comes into picture is shift your emotional state. Okay. So you have to, pick up any activity out of these, and, indulge yourself when you are gripped by the negative emotion in that activity, so that your state of the emotion changes from negative to positive, from down to up. So you can choose like gardening. Few people, they feel, relax when they are doing gardening, jogging up and down the stairs. So any kind of physical activity, it releases good hormones into the body, and you feel again charged up, and you feel you are in a better control of the situation. You can play with pets. Meditation, it works at the subconscious level. So meditation, it helps you to look at the entire situation in a very non-judgmental manner. And of course, this skill you develop over a period of time when you keep meditating regularly. So here you are detach yourself, you are able to detach yourself from the emotions involved in the situation, and then you are in a better position to make a rational decision. So you can dance. Dance is again a physical form of activity, physical exercise. You can play a musical instrument. So music, it plays at a very subconscious level. If you play a patriotic song, it will evoke a different feeling. If you play a romantic song, it will evoke a different feeling. Sleep. Then body massage, massage helps you in releasing of the pressures that are accumulated in different points in the body. And then, mentally also you feel free and you are in a good stage. You can speak to a friend, you can follow laughter therapy, or you can read books. So the point here is that once you have developed the awareness of your emotion, and if you are in a negative state of emotion, you have to immediately shift your emotional state. What is one state that you will pick to change your emotional state? Quickly write down in one word in the chat box, and then we'll move to the next slide. Waiting for the responses. Playing with pet, Pratibha says okay. Laughter, meditation, great. Murlidhar says jogging. Tejaswini says sleeping. So you have to figure out what works best for you, and when you are occupied by the negative state of mind, then you have to change it by doing that activity. Okay, great. Now, sometimes, so there, if you do physical activity, there's this hormone which is released into the body, and which stimulates your immune system. It lowers your cholesterol, it promotes bone growth, enhances muscle mass, enhances memory. So always try to do some kind of physical activity. If you are under the grip of any negative emotion, it works best. Trust me, you can go for a run, because this hormone which is released in the body takes care of the entire thing in the body. Now sometimes even after, like, trying to do these activity, you're still not being able to overcome the negative state of mind. In that case, you have to practice empathy. Okay, what is empathy? It is the ability to understand and share the feeling of another as though it is yours. I will give narrate a small story to further elaborate about empathy. So there's this man, he walks onto a railway station with his two kids. They must be 4 and 4 year old and 5 year old, and they get into the train. Man find himself a seat, he closes his eyes, sits down, closes his eyes, and the children, they look at each other and then they start playing with each other. And as time passes, they start, like, screaming in the compartment, they are running around, and then there are other passengers in the compartment who are doing different things, and these kids, they are going and disturbing them. Somebody is reading newspaper, they are going and pushing the newspaper. Somebody is eating food, they're going and staring at those people. So with time, their activities get even more naughtier, and now everybody in the compartment is disturbed with these two kids, and they are agitated, frustrated. So one of them finally got up from his seat, and he was this person who must be in his late 40s, and he got up and he goes to the father and he starts yelling at him, and he says, hey man, you are sleeping here, and your kids, they are creating all sorts of nuisance, and they are disturbing everybody in the compartment. Now can you just wake up and control your kids, or shall I do something? And this man, until now, he was sleeping, he seemed to be sleeping, he just opens his eyes and he says, yes, I know I need to control my kids, but I just don't know what to do. I received a phone call, and getting to know that my wife has just passed away. And listening to this man who was until now screaming at the father, he's stunned. Other people who were very happy with this man, that at least somebody had the courage to go and confront the father, they were also like stunned. And uh, everybody's response suddenly changed within a minute. Somebody is now trying to console the father, somebody is trying to offer the food to the kids, and somebody is trying to engage with the kids. So this is what empathy is all about. When you put yourself into the shoes of other people and try to understand what they are feeling, it is empathy. uh, one important function of the brain is that it stores our likings and our preference and our way of doing things. Imagine every day you wake up and you have to learn to brush your teeth. Will it be possible? No. Like every day you cannot learn to do one activity. Every day you have to drive and you have to learn before driving. But the brain stores the entire process for us, including our exact preference. So the moment you hold the teeth in your hand till the process gets completed, the entire process is completely ingrained and happens mindlessly without you to put any mind into it, unless you consciously try to change it. Now this function of the brain has helped us to improve our productivity and doing tasks, daily tasks. So we don't have to think about doing the daily tasks. But when it comes to dealing with the people, we again tend to react from the previous mindset, which is not good. So imagine if you have to meet 10 people and you are meeting all 10 of them and reacting and responding to them in the similar manner. Will you be able to develop connection with them? No, it will not happen. You might be able to meet more number of people, but obviously you will not be able to develop connection with them. So connection with people develops only when you have empathy for them, right? So this is the state of all of us today. We are so engrossed in our gadgets and in our mobiles that we are not mindful of the feelings of the people around us. And if we are not mindful of the feelings of the people around us, how we will be able to develop connect with them? So that is where empathy comes into the picture. We might be having thousands of friends on Facebook, but when it comes to having even a single friend with whom we can have heart-to-heart conversation, I am sorry, we might not be having. So empathy is thus very important. Now I want you all to do one activity. In this activity, I want you to think of the instance wherein somebody said something to you and it caused hurt to you. Okay. Now, when you think of that incident, it still pains you. Now imagine yourself to be in the shoes of that person and try to understand why did that person did that thing to you that caused hurt to you. And now you write down in the chat box, is feeling still the same, or you have a better feeling towards that person now? No, so Vishwanathan, what you have to do is you have to think of an incident where somebody said something to you and it caused hurt to you. And when you look back at that incident and you try to recall that incident, it still pains you. You still have the anger or grudge against that person. Now you have to put yourself into the shoes of that person, empathize with that person, try to understand why did that person did that thing to you. And now you write down how do you feel now once you are empathizing with that person. Maybe maybe that day the person had got firing from his boss and he was not in a great mood, and when you went into the conversation with him, he released all his anger upon you and you took it upon you yourself. So how do you feel? You have a better feeling, Vishakha is saying, right? Still the same feeling. Kiran is saying still the same feeling. Okay, I will deal with this. Others, feeling still the same. Okay, actually this activity works best in physical, but still I will like it. Better. Jatin is saying better. Gaurav is also saying better. Over time. Okay, great. So the idea behind making her do this activity is that we need to learn to empathize with people. Okay, so one first step is to be aware of your emotion, then try to change your emotional state by getting into any of the activity that makes you feel happy. Even if after doing that activity, if you're not feeling happy, then you have to empathize with that person. So you have to imagine that you are that person, and then you feel like why that person is doing that to you, and then maybe you will be able to empathize, right? So I'll just give one instance. So one morning I got up into a heated argument with my husband. I offered him something and he was like, I don't want it. And then I was like, why you're being so rude? And then he further raised his voice upon me, and I was so angry and agitated. I had the meeting. I just wanted to throw things around, but I did not do any of that. I took my laptop and I went down and I started my car and I drove towards my work. While I was driving, I started, thinking why he's the kind of a person who's always very calm and relaxed. And I was like, why did he behave in that manner? And then I realized that before I offered him tea, he was speaking with somebody. So then I thought maybe something must have happened over that call which caused him to behave this way. And I reached my workplace. I called him and I said, I'm sorry. And when I said I'm sorry, then he said, no, it's not your mistake. I am sorry. And then he explained me about the call that he had received and, the mishaps that had happened at the workplace. And he was angry over that. And the entire anger was spilled over me. So I was able to empathize only when I take control of my emotions, when I put myself into his shoes, and when I empathize, my actions were different. I called him up, which otherwise I would have not called. So only because I empathized, I called him up and then I said sorry, and he again said sorry, and the matter was resolved. So that is the power of the empathy. When you empathize with the person, you will be in a better position to deal with the conflicting situation. Somebody said that when they were doing activity and even after doing the activity, they're still feeling the feeling of grudge against the person who did bad to them. Then you need to go into a further step, which is you need to heal yourself. And when I say healing yourself, there are so many techniques that comes into the self-healing. Meditation and all comes into the picture, which of course we will not be covering. But in order to overcome that feeling, you can start practicing meditation. So we covered awareness of emotions. We covered how electric signal they work, why we happen to behave emotionally in any situation, because we are biologically designed. Then we covered empathy. Now I will share few tips with all of you to develop EI. So in order to develop EI, we need to work on our communication skills. So communication skills there are 4 important pillars of communication: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. We call this model LSRW model. L is listening, S is speaking, R is reading, and W is writing. And out of this, listening is very, very, very important. Okay. So listening is different from hearing. Hearing refers to the sound that we hear, but listening is more than that. It requires paying focus on the words and the meaning behind the words. and why the words are being said. And there are different types of listening. So, and two, I'm of course not going to cover different types of listening, but two important kinds of listening that helps us to become even more emotionally intelligent person is critical listening and empathetic listening. So when you listen to somebody with empathy, it is called empathetic listening, right? And when you listen to somebody trying to critically analyze the situation, it is called critical listening. So basis critical listening, you take some decision, right? Say for example, a client has come to me, an insurance agent has come to me, and he's telling me about various policies. So I'm trying to listen to him critically, wherein I'm trying to evaluate and analyze everything. What is the policy tenure, what is the premium that I have to pay, what is the maturity amount that I'll be getting. So basis all this information, I'm trying to analyze the entire information. Basis that information, I'll take a decision whether to buy the policy or not. So that is a critical listening. So in case of any conflict, you need to follow critical listening, because you have to take the decision, right? And the other kind of listening that will again help you become more emotionally intelligent person is empathetic listening, wherein you're trying to listen to the other person with empathy. You're trying to understand their state, why they are feeling what they are feeling. And when you are following empathetic listening, do not give them any advice, don't be judgmental, just listen to them. So in under your communication skill, listening plays a very, very, very important role for developing EI. And what kind of listenings, to be precise, you should follow? Empathetic listening and critical listening. Then cultivate social skills. Now when I say social skills, two things again here stand out. You start practicing different love languages. Now what are love languages? See, everybody has a way through which they feel good. That is called love language. Say for example, if somebody gives me gift and I feel very happy on receiving gift, then my love language is gift. If somebody gives you just a sec, I think if somebody gives you appreciation and you feel very good on receiving appreciation, then your love language is appreciation. So there are different love language. It can be gift, it can be appreciation, it can be experience. Say for example, if you're taking your spouse out for a dinner or for a long drive, then that is an experience for them, and they enjoy more those experience than receiving gifts. So if they are giving them gift and that doesn't make them happy, but if you're taking them for a long drive and they are more happy, then their love language is the experience, right? So you follow what is the love language of the people around you, and you try to then practice those love language, and then you will end up developing a strong relationship with them. Sandwich model of giving feedback. When you are giving feedback to somebody in the professional setting, you follow a sandwich model. So you first say good things about them, then you club the critical things where you want them to improve, and then again you reinforce the good things. So that is a sandwich model of giving a feedback, right? Wherein the other person, when you're giving feedback, they understand that you genuinely want that person to improve, and you are following this model so that they doesn't feel bad also, right? So this is another way of developing your social skill. Then manage your conflicts constructively, right? When you are facing any kind of situation of any kind of conflict, then you follow critical listening. You listen to both the parties and then try to reach the common ground. And the agenda behind is to find out the solution, which is a win-win solution, right? Do not involve in blame game. This was your blame, your mistake. This is not going to lead you anywhere. So these are few tips to develop EI. Okay. With this, we will be ending our workshop here only. Anyways, this was the last slide that I wanted to cover. So it is 4:30 now. If you give me, Shrikant, 2 minutes more, I'll make them do one activity and then we will finish. And then for 10 minutes, instead of, taking the questions for 15, we can reduce it to 10 minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Okay.
We can do that.
Okay, so somebody was saying that even after doing the activity which was planned for empathy, they still felt the same emotion. And I said, you need to follow the meditation. You need to start practicing the meditation. How many of you all practice meditation?
Meanwhile, I've rolled over the feedback poll. Please, everyone, give your feedback so that we can share that to
Okay,
Karul also.
okay. Very
Yeah.
few, very few. So now I'm going to make you all do this activity wherein you have to meditate. So you have to just, wherever you are sitting, just sit in a relaxed mode. Let your hands and leg be loose. Your palms facing upwards. Close your eyes and start taking deep breath. Now, when you are inhaling, your your stomach should come out because you're filling your upper body with air, so your stomach should come out. And when you're exhaling, the air is going out of the body, then your stomach should go in. So inhale, exhale, inhale. While you're inhaling, inhale all the positivity. Fill all your body cells with positivity. And while you're exhaling, exhale all the negativity from your body. Now again, inhale. Inhale all the peace. Fill all your body cells with peace. Hold for a few seconds. And exhale all the anxiety that you have been carrying out. Exhale the anxiety. Again, take a deep breath. Inhale all the positivity again. Fill the body cells with positivity. Hold on for a few seconds. And exhale the negativity out. Take a deep breath. Again, inhale. Inhale all the love. Fill all your body cells with love. Let your cells soak in that love. Hold your breath. And exhale all the anger and the negative emotions that you have within. Exhale it out. Again, inhale. Inhale all the confidence, all the good energy. Fill all your body cells with the confidence, good energy. Hold on for a few seconds. And exhale. Exhale all the weaknesses that you have. Exhale all the negativity. Exhale all the bad emotions that you're carrying. Repeat this process for 1 minute. Inhale. Inhale all the good things that you want in life. Inhale all the strength, love, positivity, good health. Let your cells of the body soak in all those good things, good health, love, positivity. And exhale all the negativity, all the diseases, all the bad emotions, all the grudge, anger, which you're carrying in your body. Now rub your palms, put it on your eyes, and gently open your eyes. So this was a small activity that I did for you all, which is a kind of meditation. If you're a beginner, you can put on some music in the background, alpha music, to be precise, and you can start doing meditation daily after your workout. Start for 5 minutes and gradually you can increase the time span for the meditation. And over a period of time, you will realize that, you have developed this strength through which you can actually handle any conflicting situation. You are able to handle your negative emotions well. You are able to empathize with other people well, and you will become more emotionally intelligent person. So with this, we will end our workshop here only. Three important things that we covered during this workshop was to be aware of your emotions, and if it is positive in emotion, its intensity will increase. If it is negative emotion, its intensity will decrease. Then why do we react emotionally in any situation? We had covered how electric signals travel through the brain. We are biologically designed, so that is why we feel emotional in any conflicting situation. All we need to do is to give ourselves some time, and when the emotional response reaches to the rational side of the signal reaches to the rational side of the brain, we handle the situation with more rationality. And then what are the things that we need to follow in order to overcome the negative emotions? Once we have developed the awareness for our emotions, we know we are going through any negative emotions, we need to change the state of the emotions and then empathize with people. Okay. And the tips that we need to follow in order to become more emotionally intelligent person. And then we did one small meditation activity. Now we open the chat box for the questions. We'll take few questions and then we'll wrap up. What will be the impact on self-respect if we are trying to empathize? So if you're trying to empathize, obviously you will be able to conduct yourself from a more superior position. So your self-respect is not going to damage. You are evaluating the situation and you're trying to work on a win-win situation for the parties who are involved in any conflict. So you'll always feel superior to the people who are there involved in the conflict, and you'll become a bigger person. Ignoring somebody's mistake or forgiving somebody's mistake is not a very small thing. It requires a huge amount of practice to do that. But we need to do that, not for the other, but for us. Is high EQ good or bad for ourselves? Of course, it is good. Thank you, Tapaswi. I'm glad that I was able to add some value to all of you. Thank you so much for your time. Anyone else? Okay.
Thank
Now, out of all, in some situation, actually it moved up. Just a second. In some we are zone out and comes to. In some situation we are zone out and we come to the fight mode. So that is where you have to bring awareness to your situation. No, once you have realized that you are angry and you bring awareness to your anger will reduce, and you will be in a better position to handle that situation of conflict. But if you're not aware only that you're angry, you will just keep on going like a tape recorder, right? So you have to bring awareness whenever you are feeling any negative situation, you are under the grip of any negative situation, you have to bring awareness, and that awareness doesn't happen instantly. You have to follow this model. After your day gets over, take some time to reflect what were during the important instances in a day, what were the feelings that you had. If you got into any fight, what caused trigger of that fight and how did you react, and is there any pattern in your reaction? So you have to start evaluating your own emotions. You have to start evaluating your own patterns. You can seek feedback from your viewers after the conflict has gotten over. You can ask them, like, when the conflict has resolved, that how do I behave in any conflicting situation? And when they give you feedback, maybe you work upon it, you'll become even more equipped to handle the situations of conflict in future. Okay, just a second. What if we are striving on a mute relationship, like stay together but no fight, not even communication? No, if there is no communication, then how will you cultivate that? How will you nurture that relationship? So the communication has to be there. Communication has to be there. Otherwise, this relationship will have no future ahead. So it is a kind of relationship of resentment between two people. So try to communicate. If you have any grudge, if you have any feeling of anger, try to communicate it with the person with whom you're having issue. And when you are communicating it, try to follow an assertive model of communication where you are trying to respect the other person's feeling. Don't shout, don't scream, don't yell. Put your point in a respectful manner with an intention of solving the situation. Okay. Maybe because of kids we are together. Maybe because of kids we are together. Okay. So if the situation is that grave, you can always take counseling session and you can discuss your problem in detail with the counselor, and I'm sure you all will get one solution. I mean, you all will get the solution. So seek counseling if the situation is that way. My mind is arguing he did it purposefully. Just a sec. Can you please repeat that? Repeat what? Can you please write it? Okay, I hope I have answered all the questions. I mean, 1 minute is still remaining. I want you all to, mention one skill that you're going to practice after today's session in your day-to-day life in order to become more emotionally intelligent person. Meditation, Jatin is saying. Of course, you should do meditation. It's a must in today's age. More patience, Vishwanathan says. Okay. Give more focus on kids as per my concern. Yes, and when you're like spending time with your kids, be mindful of your emotion, being empathetic in most of the situation. Definitely it helps, Tapasvi. Others? Listening skills and calmness during any situation. Yes, empathetic listening and critical skills helps you a lot in developing your EQ quotient. Effective communication, of course. Understanding other situation, you mean empathizing with others, right? How to react, take a step back and think why whatever is happening is happening. Okay, so basically working on your self-awareness quotient. Like, why do you react in a certain manner in certain situation? What are the triggers? Okay. How to react when we are wronged? How to react when we are wrong means you mean to ask, like, when you realize that it is your mistake, you can simply go and say sorry to the other person, and you can make them explain that why did you react in a certain manner during that situation, in a very calm manner, and I'm sure the other person will understand and will forgive once you have explained your side of the story to them. Okay, so with this, we wrap up our session here only. I hope I was able to add some value through today's session. Thank you so much for being an active and engaging audience. I liked the session equally as much as you all liked it. Thanks again for taking out your time and attending the session.
Thank you everyone for joining, and thank you, Parul, for really such a good, insightful session.